Everyone hated the white bezels on the M1 iMac. But did you know they have a backstory? You see, Apple's original computers were pretty much designed like any other computer that was released at the time. Beige bodies with CRT monitors targeted towards small and medium-sized businesses. But once the home market for computers started to take off, Apple decided to move away from this style with the iMac G3. And this ended up selling so much that it literally saved Apple from going bankrupt. Fast forward to 2021 and we get the redesigned M1 iMac. Now what Apple was going for with this was taking the style of the current iMacs and combining them with elements of the classic iMac G3. The color variety, the handwritten hello, and of course, the white bezels. But unfortunately, Apple is working on the first all-screen iPhones with under-display Face ID and selfie cameras. And the crazy thing is, we could end up seeing this in as little as just a couple of years. According to current rumors, the iPhone 16 is supposedly going to be the last iPhone to use the dynamic island on the Pro lineup, with the iPhone 17 Pro next year moving toward under-display Face ID. But it gets even better than that, because other rumors are saying that the iPhone 18 Pro could also put the selfie camera behind the display, which would give us an iPhone with a completely uninterrupted display. The 4th generation iPhone SE is planned to release in 2025 with some major upgrades. Here's everything we know so far. Apple's planning to do away with the iPhone 8 design that we've had on past generations in favor of a full-on iPhone 14 style redesign, complete with similar dimensions, size, and even the action button. The 4.7-inch LCD display could also be replaced with a 6.1-inch OLED display with Face ID, which would also mean no more Touch ID on the iPhones. Also, it may end up keeping the same single camera lens setup that we've had in the past, but instead of it being 12 megapixels, it could end up getting upgraded to the 48 megapixel cameras like we've had on the past couple of iPhones. And while it'll supposedly get support for 5G, it may end up using a custom modem designed by Apple rather than the modems that we've had by Qualcomm in the past, which should hopefully lead to better efficiency. And of course, it'll have USB-C. If you're an avid coffee or tea drinker, this is a mug that will make your experience so much better. This is the 14-ounce mug from Yeti, a stainless steel mug with dual wall insulation. It has a large handle which makes it more comfortable to hold than typical mugs, and it's really durable. Also, because it's insulated, it can usually keep drinks hot for a couple of hours at a time, which makes them easier to enjoy since you don't always have to worry about trying to finish them before they cool off. Keep in mind that adding cooler drinks like milk or liquid creamer can reduce the amount of time your drink stays hot. For me, this is usually down to about 1.5 hours or so. That being said, they do come with these awesome sliders that have magnets. Not only are they super easy to clean and help lock in those hot temperatures, but you can even swap out the sliders for different colors. The main issue is that since they're made of metal, it can be difficult to reheat your drinks if they get cold. So if you do pick up one of these for yourself, I do recommend having a spare porcelain mug on hand in case this does happen. Here's how to install your Fine Amplagame A8 on a boom arm. For this, you'll need your microphone, your boom arm, the included adapter, and a coin. Take your microphone and loosen the thumb screw completely. It'll come out in 3 different parts: the screw, a plastic housing, and a bolt. Set these aside and pull the microphone out of the stand. Set it aside and tighten these screw parts back into the stand as they were before to keep it all together. Now take your pivoting adapter and remove the thumb screw. It should come out in 2 different parts, the screw and a bolt. If your arm has a larger thread, take your coin and unscrew the 5/8 to 3/8 inch adapter. Slip the microphone into the pivoting adapter and make sure all the holes are properly aligned. Tighten the thumb screw and install the adapter onto your stand or boom arm. This is the Fine Amplagame A8, a $50 USB microphone designed for gaming and streaming. It comes with the microphone itself on a weighted stand with a shock mount, a metal pop filter, a pivoting adapter, and a USB-C to USB-A cable. The all-plastic build has some flex in the stand and shock mount, but the microphone itself has no noticeable flex. The gain knob is located in the back, along with a touch-sensitive button for changing the RGB color. The USB-C port on the bottom can be powered using the included cable or a third-party USB-C to USB-C cable. And while you can monitor your audio using the headphone jack, you can't directly change the headphone volume from the microphone itself. The shock mount does a fantastic job of blocking desk vibrations, and the metal pop filter helps reduce the number of plosives. In case you're wondering what it sounds like, I'm using it this whole video. This is the Keychron K8 Pro in every color. This is the Fine Amplagame A8 in every color. This is the Keychron K8 Pro, one of the best value mechanical keyboards you can buy. It has a solid, hefty build, an effortless typing experience, and even the ability to connect to up to 3 devices. Matte keys come pre-installed by default, but Windows keycaps are included along with the keycap puller to replace them. The K8 Pro also comes pre-installed with sound dampening, so it sounds amazing right out of the box. Unfortunately, from my testing, these only last for about 3 to 4 days on a charge with backlighting on, but the included cable allows you to use the keyboard in wired mode while also charging it at the same time. Overall, for $125, this is an amazing value for anyone looking to get into mechanical keyboards. The screen you're looking at right now is made up of pixels, except actually it's not. We see pixels as the individual lights that change color to build up the images that we see on screen, but these pixels can't change color on their own. So how do they change color? The answer is subpixels. Subpixels are groups of red, green, and blue lights that make up individual pixels. By shining these lights at different brightnesses, screens can effectively create whatever color pixels they want. It's basically the same technology that's used in RGB lighting, just in a much smaller form. Color changing lights should be impossible, because individual lights can't change color by themselves. So how do they? Well, to understand this, we need to go back to the basics. RGB stands for the 3 primary colors of light: red, green, and blue. Mixing different amounts of these 3 colors gives us practically any color we want. Since individual lights can't change color on their own, RGB lights instead rely on at least 1 red, 1 green, and 1 blue light. Then, through the power of computing, different amounts of these lights shine at different brightnesses to give the appearance of different colors. Bass in music is a lot like sugar in food. In healthy doses, it can make whatever you're consuming richer and more enjoyable, but too much can make it feel bloated and oversaturated. This is why companies like Apple, Sony, and even Beat have been moving away from the typical consumer-friendly bass-heavy sound signature to ones that are relatively flatter. Having a lot of bass can be fun, but having more accurate bass can give more room for the other details and instruments to shine in your music. Did you know the first noise-canceling headphones were not made by Bose? They were made in the 1950s by Dr. Lawrence Jerome Fogel to help protect the hearing of helicopter pilots while also helping them communicate better. While these were technically the first ANC headphones, their main contribution was laying the groundwork for what Amar Bose would do in 1989. This was when the Bose Series 1 aviation headset was invented to help protect the hearing of pilots. And while they mostly relied on the seal created by the ear cut, they also used the same active technology that we see in most modern noise-canceling headphones. The easiest way to record your iPhone screen is to go into the Settings app and tap Control Center. Scroll down until you find Screen Recording and tap the green plus. Once you open the Control Center, tap and hold the Screen Recording button to open the options. From here, you can either enable or disable the microphone, or choose which app to record or broadcast to. Once you're ready to record, just press the record button. If you thought AirPod Maxes were heavy, these headphones weigh 10 pounds. Yes, really. They're the first headphones ever made, but functionally they're very similar to modern headsets. You effectively have an earpiece that rests on one side, as well as a mouthpiece that rests on the other, and this allowed telephone operators in the 1880s to take hands-free calls. Here are 3 reasons why iMacs beat desktop Macs. iMacs are self-contained packages, which means they take up less space on your desk and are easier to move around if needed. This also means that they just look nicer. You don't have 2 separate units sitting on your desk or a cable connecting them together. To top it off, they come in at a cheaper upfront cost than a Mac, since they effectively include the display, the computer, a keyboard, and a mouse all together for one price. The desktop Mac, you have to buy everything separately. Here are 3 reasons why desktop Macs beat iMacs. Since Macs effectively separate the computer from the display, you have much more control over your setup. You can get whatever model of Mac you want, along with whatever monitor you want depending on your needs and budget. This also makes them cheaper to maintain over time. If you want to upgrade your Mac or your monitor, or one of them breaks down, you can just replace them individually rather than the entire unit like with an iMac. And thanks to better thermals and airflow, Macs can run at maximum power for longer periods of time, unlike iMacs, which are known for throttling under heavy workloads. The Keychron K8 Pro and the K2 Pro are actually very similar keyboards overall, but the main difference is actually in their size. The K8 Pro is an 85% keyboard, which means that it's basically the same size as a full-size keyboard with the numpad chopped off. off, and this gives a lot of the keys a bit more breathing room because everything is spaced out a little bit better. You have the function keys that have spacing in groups of 4, and you have these keys over here which are kind of in their own section compared to the rest of the keys, so everything is a bit more comfortable to type on. Whereas the K2 Pro is a lot more compact, but this could end up creating a bit of a cramped typing experience if you're not used to it. This is because there's a lot less spacing in between all the individual keys versus the K8 Pro, which is a bit roomier. Now this by itself isn't necessarily a downside because it does take up less space on your desk, so if desk space is valuable to you, then this could be a really good option. Thank you for asking this question. I hope this video was able to help you out. I'll see you all next time.